So it's very obvious to all of us that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are making huge changes to the Star Wars universe. Whether that's directly or not, whether they're directly going in and retconning the sequels, is kind of irrelevant because they're changing the sequel trilogy, they're changing the characters, they're changing at least the way the fans perceive the characters that were in the sequel trilogy, more specifically Luke Skywalker, and people like him that were just not well received by the fans, that just weren't done properly. They weren't given to the fans in the way that they should have been given to the fans, and I don't really know how you could have done Luke Skywalker properly. I don't know how you can make an overpowered character like Luke be interesting in an entire trilogy. However they did it, it wasn't right because none of the fans were really happy with it. You don't really talk to anyone. I mean, there's a few people out there who just like to be contrarians, but even myself, who don't even dislike the sequels that badly, I can admit that the Luke Skywalker character in the sequel trilogy is not the Luke Skywalker that everyone wanted. And at the end of the day, it is entertainment. It doesn't matter how you think it should be. If most of the fans aren't entertained, if most of the fans aren't happy with how your entertainment is being portrayed, then you're not doing entertainment the right way, because the main purpose of you making these Star Wars movies, the main purpose of anyone making any movie ever, is to entertain their fans, is to please their fans. And you can say whatever you want, it's artwork, it's this, it's that, but no, it's to please the fans, it's to make money, and at the end of the day, you're going to make more money if you please the fans more, if you make the fans happy, and the Luke Skywalker character just didn't do that, and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni know that. They've admitted over and over again that they do listen to the fans before they write scripts for future shows. Jon Favreau came on and said that before writing the script for The Mandalorian Season 3, he listened to the fans. He listened to the feedback from Season 1, and I know he heard the feedback about Luke Skywalker in the sequels. That's why they gave that to us. It wasn't like he was the only one that could show up in that moment. They could have made a new Jedi. They could have brought Ahsoka back into it. There were so many options for them to do in that moment, but they ended up bringing Luke back because not only was it great story-wise, not only did it fit in the story perfectly, not only was it great just in The Mandalorian, but it was so great for the Star Wars fans, for the overall Star Wars universe. It really, in a way, saved the Luke Skywalker character, and for a little while, it saved Star Wars. Ever since then, it kind of went downhill once again. Right after The Mandalorian finale, we had the Pablo Hidalgo versus Star Wars Theory situation, and a whole lot more situations after that as well. But for a little minute, it felt like everyone in the Star Wars fandom was very happy. It felt like everyone was together. It felt like we were all one, and then we got split in half again right when the Pablo Hidalgo stuff happened. And then, like I said, we had a whole lot of other situations, ongoing situations. We have Lucasfilm employees attacking fans, attacking my friends, you know, just normal stuff for Lucasfilm employees to do. But like I said, regardless of how you feel about the sequel trilogy, regardless how you feel about the Luke Skywalker character, what Jon and Dave did for the Luke Skywalker character was a very good thing, not only for the Star Wars universe, but for the Star Wars fandom. And it seems like they're doing that a lot more, not only with the Luke Skywalker character, but with everyone from the sequel trilogy, with a lot of sequel trilogy plot lines, with a lot of sequel trilogy characters. It just seems like they're going in, and while not directly retconning the sequel trilogy, which I don't think they should ever do, I don't think they should just directly retcon the sequel trilogy. I think that alienates a lot of fans, and I don't want to see any fans alienated whether or not you like the sequels. I think everyone who likes Star Wars is a Star Wars fan, and even if you only like the sequel trilogy, I think that your movie should be safe. I think your movie should be canon because that's your Star Wars and you're a Star Wars fan and you deserve that. So I don't think they should just straight up retcon the sequels, but I do think that they're doing a very good job of trying to take certain plot lines, take certain characters that weren't done very well, and without retconning them directly, kind of change their plot lines, make their plot lines make more sense, add to it. They're doing a lot of that, and it seems like Disney is fine with it. It seems like Disney is giving them the okay to keep on moving forward with it, and that's what I'm going to show you in this article that I'm about to show you in this video. Let's get into it. So this article from Inside the Magic says Disney doesn't care that Star Wars sequels are being erased, and they're not necessarily being erased, but they definitely are being changed. When the Walt Disney Company purchased Lucasfilm and with its Star Wars franchise from George Lucas in 2012, fans weren't exactly sure what to expect. Then immediately on the heels of the acquisition, Disney announced that the Star Wars sequel trilogy was in development. Disney and Lucasfilm already had a long history before the Star Wars universe officially becoming part of the House of Mouse. Rides like Indiana Jones Adventure, Temple of Forbidden Eye, and Star Tours opened at Disney parks in 1980s and 1990s. Disney's acquisition of the Sci-Fi Guru studio felt in many ways like it should have happened years earlier. This made Star Wars fan community hopeful for everything that was to come. Then Star Wars The Force Awakens hit theaters, starring 3 newcomers to the Star Wars galaxy. Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, and John Boyega were immediately compared to the original trilogy's core trio of Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, Millennium Falcon pilot Han Solo, and Princess Leia Organa. And right away, the sequel started to divide Star Wars fans. Some enjoyed the nostalgia and the reappearance of beloved original trilogy characters 40 years later, while the others wished Disney had tried something completely new in a galaxy far, far away. But by the time Rian Johnson's Star Wars episode The Last Jedi released, fans' opinions were set, and most of them weren't happy with the way things were going in Disney's sequels. As Forbes noted soon after The Last Jedi release on DVD and Blu-ray, Star Wars The Last Jedi is one of the most controversial films in years. Some people love it, other people hate it, and now that it's available on home video, many people are watching it again to see if they've changed their mind about this movie. After its theatrical release, the media highlighted the divide between the film's critical reception and the general public's views. On Rotten Tomatoes, for instance, the aggregating rating ratings from the critics is 90%, but the audience score is 50%. The conclusion of the Skywalker saga, episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, did little to repair the divisive nature of the Star Wars sequels, with some fans unhappy about how Rey took on the moniker Skywalker, other fans angry that Adam Driver's character Kylo Ren / Ben Solo died, and yet more fans, and seemingly Mark Hamill too, still not over the anticlimactic way Luke Skywalker met his demise 2 years earlier in The Last Jedi. Enter The Mandalorian. From the moment showrunner Jon Favreau and executive producer Dave Filoni's Disney Plus Star Wars series debuted on November 12th of 2019, it did something the Star Wars sequels never managed to do. It united a fan base that hadn't universally liked the project since The Empire Strikes Back debuted in 1980. Over the course of 2 seasons so far, Favreau and Filoni had taken fans on a journey alongside Grogu and bounty hunter Din Djarin, masterfully introducing characters both new and old into their new live-action corner of the Star Wars galaxy. And Disney seems just fine with letting The Mandalorian and its spin-off series The Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka run point within the Star Wars universe, particularly since Ridley, Isaac, and Boyega have all expressed that they have no immediate interest in returning to a galaxy far, far away. As Screen Rant noted, The Mandalorian has done what the sequel trilogy failed to do. It has introduced new characters, and in doing so serves a launchpad for countless new potential stories. What's more, everything seen in The Mandalorian builds so organically on what has been seen before. There's nothing so jarring as the sudden, still barely explained emergence of the First Order, or the revelation Palpatine has returned from the dead through means that only became clear courtesy of tie-in. And like I said, Disney has no problem with letting them retcon certain things, with letting them rewrite certain things in the sequel trilogy without directly doing it. I don't think they would ever let them directly do it, but by kind of hinting at certain things or dancing around certain topics, you can kind of tell what's going on. You can kind of tell they're trying to change certain characters, like I said, certain plot lines without directly doing it. And the reason why Disney is so okay with them doing that is because of what this quote says. There's nothing so jarring as the sudden, still barely explained emergence of the First Order. I'm sure Disney can't even believe that they did that they started off with the First Order already in power. Then what was Return of the Jedi all about? What happened between the Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens? How did the First Order come to power after Luke Skywalker just took down the Empire? How is that happening? There's nothing like that in The Mandalorian, where you see it and you're just like, wait, how did that happen? And Disney can see that. Disney can just see that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are just great storytellers, and you don't even have to be a great storyteller to not know that the First Order shouldn't start off in power. They shouldn't start off with the rebellion versus the Empire once again. That's not how it should be. And you don't need to be a great storyteller to know that. But Jon and Dave, they don't only just do that. They don't only not make the simple mistakes like that, but they do some great storytelling, and they have some great emotional moments. The reaction to the Luke Skywalker reveal, I mean, I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen any reactions like that. I've damn sure never seen any reactions like that to the sequel trilogy. The reactions to that moment were something that I've never seen before, and that's something that Jon and Dave can give us that other people in the Star Wars universe, that other storytellers involved in Star Wars just can't give that to us. And Disney knows that. Disney sees that, so they're letting them run free. They're letting them have some freedom to do what they want, to kind of retcon the sequels, like I said, without directly retconning the sequels, to rewrite some things, to dance around some topics, to make some characters better, to make some plot lines make more sense. And it's 100% smart by Disney to do that. Let Jon and Dave do what they want, and that's why they promoted Dave Filoni to a position of power. That's why they put him as a head creative director of Lucasfilm, because he knows how to tell a story. I don't agree with everything that Dave has done. I think he's done some shady stuff in the past, some things that I don't really agree with in terms of Star Wars storytelling, but I can agree with you that he is a great storyteller, and he definitely knows Star Wars. He knows the Star Wars canon. He deserves to be in that position of power. He definitely does. It's true, they know they messed up with the sequel trilogy. They know they missed a huge opportunity there, and I think they're just going to move on. I think they're just going to let Jon and Dave run wild in their own universe, set their own timeline, kind of. I know he said that all roads lead to the sequel trilogy, and it is true. I think they're going to try and tie some things in with the sequel trilogy, which is smart. I kind of like that. I want everything to tie in. It's Star Wars. I want it to be one cohesive universe, so I like that they're trying to do that at least a little bit, but I think that Jon and Dave are smart enough to know where they shouldn't mess with things and where they should mess with things, and I think they're picking their battles perfectly right now. I think the Luke Skywalker reveal in the Mandalorian finale was absolutely perfect, and not to mention something that a lot of Star Wars fans needed. A lot of Star Wars fans were on their way out. A lot of Star Wars fans were beginning to give up on Star Wars, and rightfully so. I don't blame you at all for it, but that Luke Skywalker reveal in the Mandalorian season 2 finale brought so many fans back, got so many fans so much more excited, and now I think we're going to see more stuff like that in the future. We're going to see more great storytelling from Jon and Dave, and we're going to see them fix some things in the sequel trilogy. We're going to see them make some plot lines better, make some characters better without retconning certain things, and I think Disney is going to be completely fine with it, like this article says. But let me know what you think in the comments about this whole situation. Do you think Disney should let Jon and Dave do certain things to the sequel trilogy, retcon some things here and there without directly retconning certain things, or do you think that they shouldn't touch the sequel trilogy at all? Let me know what you think in the comments. But if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, both of those links will be in the description as well. But thank you for watching the video, and hope to see you in the next one.